welcome to today's angel readings. I can already see a question from Shruti, so I'm just going to do our opening prayer and then we're going to dive straight in here. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my Father, my Mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen. Namaste. Okay, so Shruti saying, hi Sky, I am a new mother. I'm finding lots of difficulties to move forward as a good mother. I need help and guidance from the angels. Am I able to make a good mother to my little boy? Okay, I am going to pull from the Divine Feminine deck and I'm going to bring in Mother Mary and Mary Magdalene here to support you, because that's a very deep question that most mothers, we really ask ourselves that consistently. And it comes from a place of deep shame. I'm just going to tune into you as well as I pull the card. Oh, okay. So, jumping card. You've got the patroness of impossible causes. I am miraculous. My prayers create powerful channels of possibility. And then the other card that you got was the presence of the divine feminine. At the center of everything, there is light, and I am that light. So when we are, and I say this, you guys know I have a 2-year-old running around right now. I say this from a very, very vulnerable place, is that as mothers, especially when a baby is born, a mother is born. So it's very normal to feel like you don't know yourself, to be in the middle of this major identity crisis at the same time as being postpartum. So your body takes between 1 year to 2 years to recover from the birthing process, depending on how traumatic that was for you or not. And we're going through a complete change in everything from hormones, sometimes even to hair color, to health, to identity. And our coping mechanisms for being a healthy adult before motherhood simply do not work in the motherhood bubble, like what I call the motherhood bubble. So suddenly we have to create new coping mechanisms, very, very often things that we've been hiding, even from ourselves. Like if we're neurodivergent, I don't know how many mothers have told me they discovered that they were autistic or dyslexic or neurodivergent or ADHD after they had their child, because suddenly their routines, their coping mechanisms were disrupted by the child and they could no longer cope. And they had to face these inner child parts of themselves and their mother wounds and their triggers so that they could then show up as the mom that they wanted to be. From a soul level, the child chooses the mother as much as the mother chooses the child. This little boy chose you because you have what they need to become the light that they're capable of being in this world. So now is your chance to take a look at what's really going on. And the angels keep showing me like self-care, self-care, self-care. And self-care is not about bubble baths at this stage. Self-care is about sleep. So going to sleep when your child goes to sleep. Sleep training if you have to, by which I don't mean locking a kid in a bedroom, by which I mean, you're co-sleeping, or you are coming in every 5 minutes until they learn how to sleep, or asking somebody that you love and trust, either a friend or your partner, to take them for a few nights so that you can sleep, especially if you've not had a solid night's sleep since the baby was born, particularly if you're breastfeeding at the same time. So like deep self-care, sleep, food, movement, like daily walking and daily going outside, connection with other mothers so that you're no longer in isolation. Being a new mom can be very, very isolating. And because there's so many different belief systems around being a mom, it can be very separating. Very traditional strict moms versus Montessori moms versus homeschooling versus full-blown childcare. So it can be very difficult to connect with other moms. So what you want to do is find physical groups where you can meet and just say hi and have a cup of tea and feel and see other people going through the same experience and the same journey. And also so that you can learn. You'll see how other mothers are facing their difficulties and are solving the problems. And you can take the things that you like and start to practice and apply them. There is no such thing as a perfect parent, and there's no such thing as a perfect child. Every child is different. Every parent is different. It's not that that your child is bad or that you are doing it wrong. It's that we are not taught what to do, and we need to be taught what to do. It's just a myth that you miraculously wake up one day knowing how to be a good parent, right? It doesn't happen unless you had very good parents and then you were taught for like 10 to 20 years by your parents how to be a good parent. So if you didn't have that, you're going to have to put in the work, which is when you are already overwhelmed and sleep deprived and malnutritioned and often recovering. It's such an overwhelming thing. But there's something insane about the love of a child. Something insane about the love of a child that causes us to rise above the insanity of the ego and do the things that needs to be done. And there's few things stronger than a mother's love. So if you're struggling also with feeling like you're able to love or be there for your child, just know that this could be postpartum depression. This could be what's it called, because of the drug interventions that you had during the pregnancy. And it's not a reflection of your capacity to love the child. It's a reflection of your hormonal imbalance that needs to be addressed and of your health that needs to be addressed, not of your worthiness of being a mom. Okay, so I'm just going to ask our Mary Magdalene to come in and surround you. And we're going to start by commanding a hormonal healing. And we're going to bring in Archangel Raphael to start removing all obstacles to self-care and your worthiness of self-care. And we're going to bring in the energy of the Divine Mother to start helping you become aware of your mother wounds. Now, most mother wounds, particularly in the early years with a child, they're deeply unconscious, because the same way that you don't remember what it was like to be 0 to 3, 0 to 4 years old, you don't remember what your mother was like 0 to 3, 0 to 4 years old, but it's all in there. Okay. And very often that looks very different than what they're like when you're 5, 6, 7, and they actually have some time, versus when you're very little, particularly when you're not well, or when they're dealing with multiple children and breastfeeding and postpartum. So let's just release that as well for all those who want it. Ooh. The invisible mother wound. The deep shame that we feel when we don't know how to be there for ourselves and for our children. We feel like we're failing, and society is attacking us at the same time. So we're hiding it from ourselves and hiding it from the world, but we're really, really not okay. So we're just going to keep pouring love into there, pouring love into there, pouring love into there. And we're going to ask for a miracle. We're going to ask for you to find the right people, the right places, for you to be guided by Mother Mary and the angels into becoming who you really are. Who you really are is kind and fun and loving. And it's just covered up by all this trauma. And doing it for you, not doing it because you need to be a good mother, but doing it because you're worthy of being yourself. And your son is worthy of connecting with you. How can he connect with you if you don't know who you are? And it's a decision, right? It's not about getting to know who you used to be. It's about getting to know who you are now, because you've gone through the portal. There's no going back. Who are you now? And getting to know that person now. Right? So many huge things shifted for me. Like, I hated coffee before I became a mom. And then suddenly I love it. There were so many things that I would never do before I became a mom that suddenly I do. Okay. There are so many things, like there were just such a complete 180 in my personality that my husband was like, what just happened? And it's because it's a complete shift in identity. It's a complete shift in archetype. Take the time to get to know yourself. There we go. Next person. Gonna do an energy break there. Okay. Sia is saying, hi Sky, can I please have a reading on my financial situation? Yes, you can. And I'm getting pulled to Marianne Williamson's book, The Law of Divine Compensation. This book is like highlighted within an inch of its life. Let's see what comes up for you. Okay, so the message is facing our prejudice. Another way we deflect wealth is through the unrecognized belief that it's not really okay to have money. Just as some people are prejudiced against the poor, many are even more prejudiced against the rich. I support the Occupy Wall Street movement because over the past few decades, there have been a systemic dismantling of the appropriate guarantees of the economic justice in the States. But I noticed among a few of the occupiers I met that their passion seemed to be less an enthusiasm for the rights of all people to participate in the engine of economic prosperity and more a knee-jerk criticism of anybody who does. This then leaves the movement open to all kinds of erroneous criticism. The supporters of Occupy are anti-rich and so forth. So this is what the message is, that there's a deep unconscious prejudice here, a belief on probably an ancestral level that people who have money are corrupt and bad, and that in order to have money, you have to somehow participate in something dirty, right? Like selling drugs or sex trafficking, or in order to have, a lot of people have this belief that in order to have a lot of money, you have to do something bad, kind of like it's a club that you only get into by paying the right people. And historically speaking, this has often been the case, right? Whether it was the taxman, or whether it was a gangster, or whether it was a mafia, or whether it was the local militia, there was often a price that you had to pay, both financial and emotional, so that people would let you into the club of those who were more officially wealthy. So that's what they're saying is what you need to heal to be able to allow more wealth in, because it's no longer true. We have more freedom to create wealth than we've ever had, and to do it in ways that are in alignment than we've ever had, because we're now so easily able to trade knowledge and channeling and skills and teaching without having to be physically present in order to both find an audience and nurture an audience and love on the people that we are taking care of and we are serving, which opens up a whole world that wasn't available, to our ancestors before us. So let's just take a moment. We're going to call in the angels of abundance, and we're going to clear the prejudice, the core belief that you have to do something wrong to make money. And that if you are making money, especially lots of money, then you must be dishonest. You must be playing dirty. There we go. Videos like The Wolf of Wall Street, that kind of thing, if you watch those, it will bring up and trigger the beliefs. Any beliefs that nobody should have money, that the way to solve the world's financial problems is to make the rich give everything to the poor. There we go. Whoa. Okay, let's just do an energy break and off we go. Okay, Mattis. Hi, beautiful sky. Any message from the angels? Hope you're doing well. Thank you. Lots of love. Yep, it's coming in. Don't know why, Mattis, but I'm getting the romance cards for you. Let's see what they have to say. Romance cards. Okay, the card that's coming out for you is forgiving and learning. As you release and heal the past, you experience more love in your present moments. So this is a card that comes up when we are projecting our past onto the present. Your romance angels are really urging you to do the trigger work. Sit down and write the places where dating triggers you, where relationships trigger you down, and then start digging. Start like the way that Byron Katie's inquiry process is really good. The theta healing digging process is really good, but you want to have some kind of a process for going from how it triggers you to how it makes you feel to why you feel that way. And then normally you'll get a core belief come up, right? But you want to do a deep inquiry around the trigger, because the trigger is the effect, not the cause. All right? Triggers are when something hurts us so much emotionally and physically, normally on a gut level, that we instantly project onto somebody else, be our child or our partner or the situation, and we don't have a chance to figure out what's actually going on for us or going on inside us. And then that lack of self-awareness, that lack of self-mastery causes problems, right? And stops us from being able to move forward and to trust and to move on. So what's triggering you in your intimate relationships, you want to be like, okay, I get really triggered when I'm ghosted. And that makes me feel like I felt when, I was abandoned by my parents or by my first boyfriend or by my brother or whatever comes up, right? And when they did that to me, I felt, right? When they did that to me, I felt angry, alone, bad, worthless, broken, right? And because I feel broken, I stonewall and don't let anybody in. I scream at people. I push people away. I avoid connecting with people. I don't trust anybody. When really what I need to do is raise my standards for the people that I allow into my life, have more compassion for myself, and more realistic expectations as to what is required to make a long-term relationship work. Right? And what mostly happens is people, because they're unconscious, they try and go into the dating game. They're unconscious, so they attract other people that are unconscious, and then they shut down and go, this isn't going to work for me. The reality is you go in, and the more conscious you are, the more you're able to actually decide. This person has the level of emotional skill, spiritual skill, financial skill. They have the right character traits and the right personality traits for me to be able to grow with them, for me to be able to share life with them, for me to be able to trust them with my life. And then from that space, you decide to go into a relationship with somebody. But if the person comes in and they're showing you they don't have emotional skills, they're not emotionally available, they're just interested in sex, and you're not going, this is not right, this isn't going to work, right? If you're coming from a place of desperation, I just want them to love me, then you end up trying to convince them to love you or make them love you, or treating your partner like a child, right? Picking their shoes and telling them how to work and telling them how to be and trying to fix. And then the relationship becomes a puddle of resentment. You're not sure why it's not working. So it's really, really important to get really present with your triggers and also get really present with your prejudices, which is interesting that came up around finances, because a lot of people believe that if they have conditions for a loving relationship, then they are like a gold digger, or they are like, it's not true love. All sorts of insane prejudices that just aren't true, right? Of course, you have to have conditions for somebody you're in a long-term relationship with, and make no mistake, they will have conditions for you. Okay, so it's that energy of, unless you're like a little baby, nobody should be running around angry about the fact that they have to be a contributing member of society and they have to have a reasonably basic standard of living, things like a job, things like friends, things like hobbies, things like emotional skills and spiritual skills, to be able to participate in a loving relationship or create a family, right? When I hear grown men and grown women throwing tantrums because no one will just love them unconditionally, and I'm like, why are we on the internet again whining about the fact that people require you to have a basic standards for yourself? And why are we arguing that you should have no standards for yourself? Why are your standards for yourself so low that you don't require yourself to have a decent income and friendships and a good quality of life before you'll engage in relationships, right? So this is like it's very much like that wounded inner child that gets in the way. So let's just take a moment to heal that, and ask the angels to give us the courage to see where we're going unconscious, where we're reacting from this stonewalling, shutdown place, where we're just going, I'm just not going to engage, instead of deciding that we're going to master this and we're going to release our prejudices and we're going to show up as the person that we need to be to manifest the things that we desire. There we go. Relationships require big girl pants and big man pants. There we go. Otherwise, Mother Nature's going to give you some hard knocks. Okay, Terry T saying, hi Sky, I feel like people around me are not close to me and I feel isolated. May I have a healing for my relationship with people, especially my co-workers, TQ. I'm going to send in Archangel Raguel to help you with your relationships. He's super amazing at healing toxic relationships and sorting out toxic relationships. But I'm going to put a caveat on here because what I'm really getting from Archangel Metatron for you is that you are not following your divine guidance. You are not supposed to be there anymore, right? You're being told over and over and over again to start your spiritual business, and you are clinging onto this old belief that the job is your income instead of God. So Archangel Metatron is like, angelic bitch slap and like, come on, you don't belong here. You know it. What are you doing? Right? So let's just clear this energy of like you said, we talked about projecting, right? Stop making the fact that you don't belong there and you're not happy there their problem. Why? Like, if you're in a job, and I say like, listen to me as somebody that's had more than 10 employees at once, that runs 2 multi 6-figure companies, right? You and many clients and many students. If you walk into a space, especially an office environment, and you are not grateful for being there, and you don't really want to be there, and you don't really enjoy being there, right? That is a recipe for triggering other people who do want to be there, who are working hard, that this is their life, right? Especially if that's their time away from their husband and their children and their family, and this is the only way they know how to make an income. That arrogance will trigger them. So take a moment and take a deep breath, release this space. It can't hold you anymore. It can't continue. You're bigger than this space. You outgrew it. But this is where the responsibility comes in, because if you were rebelling against authority and were in that energy of arrogance at this place, then you'll be in the same place with your own business. There are seasons to your divine life purpose. And the first season involves kind of invoking the law of momentum. You have to put the energy out so that it comes back. There we go. You're not supposed to be there anymore, Terry. I'm getting Archangel Metatron so strong, being like, what are you doing? Why? Just breathe. Okay. Hi, Bettina. Okay. Gabriella saying, Dear Sky, can I please have a card for today? What is my next step? Thank you. Okay. Where am I going? We're going back to Marianne's Law of Divine Compensation, apparently. What is... Those angel cards are going to go everywhere. 1 second. Okay. What is our message for Gabriella? Whoop. Okay. The universe showers you with love, not because of what you have done, but because of who you are. Think of the universe itself as a personal love note from God to you. God is love, and in sharing his love, you share his power. By aligning yourself with thoughts of infinite love for yourself and others, you gain dominion over the lower thought forms of the world. In material ease, your situation might indeed be bleak. You might have been given a raw deal or even been betrayed by others. You yourself might have made a huge mistake. Still, what matters is what you think now. Are you lingering in the past, or are you allowing for a miracle in the present? Are you blaming yourself in others or blessing yourself in others? Are you clinging to your faith in the reality of the disaster, or opening your mind to the possibility of a miracle? Realign your thoughts with the thoughts of God, and in any given instant, the universe is ready to begin again. The law of time and space is more malleable than we think. So, focusing on thoughts of love will give you dominion over the lower thoughts that are taking over. It is why meditation is so powerful. It is why exercise is so powerful. It is why presence is so powerful. So let's just take a moment to just cut the cords to every fear, every excuse, every reason that we have for things not working. And let's call in the miracle. Let's affirm that the laws of time and space are much more malleable than they look. Okay, that's looking super good. Here, saying, hi, Skylar, how are you doing? Can I have a reading about... Oh, no, we've done that one. Bettina saying, hi, beautiful. Any messages about which niche suits me best? Let me have a look. I want, like, my mind wanted to say, like, health, but my heart, the angels were like relationships. So let me pull a card. And I'm going to pull a card from a neutral deck because that's going to give us a clearer answer. So I'm going to use the female archangels because that's a neutral deck and it's got a lot of different niches in it. So if you pull from a card that's already niched down, let's say a health card deck, or then it's going to not give you as clear an answer. But if you pull from a general healing card deck, then it will help you figure out where to niche down often. So let's see. I'm also hearing your angels laughing, telling me that you don't want to niche down. So they're aware of the resistance. Okay. The card that we got for where to niche down is Ascension. Awaken your inner angel, Ascension healing. So higher metaphysical channelings, sacred geometric shapes, the process of going from sleeping to awakened to ascended, activating your higher self, really connecting to your highest truth, your journeying, to become your highest self, quantum jumping, manifestation loopholes. That's what this card means as to where to niche down. It's not what I would have picked, but that's what the angels are saying, so we're going to go with it. So let's just clear any resistance or beliefs that this is too woo-woo, that you can't make money from it. It's just not true, right? There are so many. If you want to get a really good example, Reagan Hillier is a very good example of somebody that made a lot of abundance from working with Ascension and higher vibrational goddess trainings. But there are many, many women out there who have done this, including the amazing lady who wrote the Female Archangels Oracle card deck. So you don't have to limit yourself to only teaching things that are like health, relationships, money. You can teach the Stoic teachings. You can teach the goddess. You can teach the codes. It is not about what you teach. It is about who you are. There we go. And there are a lot, I would say at least 1 billion very awakened, very deeply well-trained, vibrating at a very high level light workers on the planet that are looking for places to connect, that are looking for places to practice, that are looking for places to allow their full abilities to shine. But it's like, this is not beginner work. This is like advanced work. There we go. Woo. Okay. Aisha's saying, hi, Skylar, can you please help me? I feel like I can't feel love in my heart. I've discovered that I have core wounds around belonging and being worthy of life, but I don't know where to begin to shift. Mother wound, mother wound, mother wound, mother wound. So you guys all know about the fight, flight, freeze response, okay? And what happens, particularly when your mom goes into freeze or flight in pregnancy, right? So let's say that your mom goes to the doctor and the doctor tells her that, you're in danger and she's going to have to like stay in the hospital and give birth straight away. Or that, like my mom with me, my mom went to the hospital pregnant with me and they were like, oh, this baby's probably not going to make it. She's got the coil in there with her. The amniotic sac might pop. There's a very low survival rate. The mother will often go into freeze and disconnect from the level of emotional pain and panic that she's in, partly because she needs to function and survive the situation, right? And she can't go into like emotional breakdown. And partly because if she was to believe this stuff or connect with this stuff, then she would probably manifest it. So there's positive dissociation and negative dissociation. But for the baby, a mother dissociated from her own emotions means that you will struggle to feel your own. And you dissociated, like you saying you don't feel worthy of life, is a very common response for a mum that was dissociated or went into the freeze response during pregnancy or postpartum, okay, due to trauma or due to shock. So physical trauma or emotional trauma and shock, right? So that's what you're looking to heal, is the moment where your mum went into shock and you thought, she doesn't love me, I shouldn't be here, I'm not worthy of life. Okay, but that's going to take a proper hypnosis session, a proper healing one-to-one session, a proper healing, right? It's not enough knowing up here. It has to come down, because whenever we're in shock or we're in trauma, you're dealing with the reptilian brain, and it's the somatic nervous system, not the conscious mind that's storing this trauma. So you could understand everything there's to understand about it and it still not be healed. Let's take a moment. We're just going to bring in Mother Mary and just send so much unconditional love. Dubravka saying, hi Sky, can you give me guidance about my love life and how to heal my broken heart? I think I have a problem with dopamine. Is this related? Thank you. I'll pull an angel card, angel romance card for you. And I will just scan, my darling. Let's see what's coming up. Okay, so chemistry, boom, boom, boom. There's a strong magnetic attraction here. So what they're saying to me is that you are confusing a chemistry wound, what I call a lust wound when I'm doing soulmate shadow work with people, and true love. So you were told either by the TV, internet, princess movies, or by your own family history, that you choose a partner based on chemistry. You choose a partner based on who makes you feel hot, right? Who makes you feel fair, and you're confusing like a lust wound, a chemistry wound, with love. So you're completely correct, because lust is dopamine, love is oxytocin. So they are similar hormones, but they are completely different biochemically. Dopamine is what you create when you're in lust. Oxytocin is what you create when you're in love, right? So we're this is not love, this is a wound. It's coming in so strong. And I teach this in Medical Intuitive Mastermind, is that wounds can feel like intense hedonistic pleasure as well as pain, right? They really, really can. And this is how they can lead to food addictions where you're eating tons of ice cream, or sex addictions where you're, constantly only connecting on a physical level, because this is what your inner child believes is love. It believes that chemistry is love. Chemistry is not love. Chemistry is chemistry. Okay. And chemistry is often the worst foundation on which to build a long-term loving relationship. Okay. The worst foundation. You require so much more than chemistry to make a relationship last. So we're going to bring in the romance angels. And we're going to start sending so much unconditional love to your heart. And any part of you that believes you need to exchange sex for love, that sex is love, that men and other people only want you for your body, that real love isn't true, it doesn't exist. Sex is the only thing that's real. And let's send so much love to that little girl that stopped believing that she was lovable and instead started believing that this lust, this chemistry, this crush, this desire was love. Ooh, there we go. Your self-love, your self-worth, your sexuality should not be on the table. There we go. Okay. Sherry saying, hi, Sky. I was wondering if you could tell me what my spirit's guide name is, please. I'll pull an angel card for you. This is not really my area of expertise. There's a very good psychic called Katie Halliwell, and this is her area of expertise. So you might want to go and look up her free Facebook group. And so she really teaches people how to find their names, especially. But I'm actually getting shown to go to the Archangels deck. So looks like your guide is an angel. I do have a guides deck as well, so they would have shown me that one if we need that one for specific names. Let's have a look. Okay, so the name that you're being given for your spirit guide is Archaea, right? Archaea, and you have like it's Archaea means like the divine aspect of like the divine feminine of the angelic realms. So you have the archangels that are male and the archangels that are female in the lower angelic hierarchies before you stop having genders. And this is like you're here to represent the divine feminine. Your guide's here to help you really heal and reconnect with your own divine feminine. Apparently, they're showing this as a big wound in the family, and you have a lot of lifetimes as an earth angel and a lot of incarnations on the angelic realms. So it's showing me that her name is Archaea. It's not my area of like specializing or niching down. I'd recommend you go and find Kelly Halliwell if you want to go into that kind of psychic work, which is beautiful. But you guys know I specialize more in angels and medical intuition than things like names, times, dates, etc. It comes through, but I wouldn't say it's my strength or superpower. Okay, Divine Blue Butterfly saying card for me, please. Thank you, Isabella. Okay, let's see. Archangel Zadkiel, strengthen your boundaries. Strengthen your boundaries. So when I'm tuning into you, there's a real they're showing me that this is like your inner circle. And they're actually showing me this seems to be to do with either people you've hired as mentors or coaches or people that you've hired as staff more than it is with your clients. It's kind of like you've got solid boundaries with clients and you even seem to have solid boundaries in your relationship. This is about like inner circle, inner business circle, either like mentorship circle. And there's and people's intuition over your own and of not following your guidance. So we're just going to bring in Archangel Zadkiel to help you find the courage to do the digging work, to do the healing work around why you're struggling to set boundaries with your inner circle so that you don't have to experience the consequences, right? And make no mistake, especially when someone is in your inner circle business-wise or inner circle mentor-wise, and they are either triggering you and there's work you have to do, or they are genuinely outside of integrity and then there's boundaries that you have to set, which is what came up with this card. It's really important. There's a very strong price to pay. I've had it happen with 3 mentors now, and I really struggled to set boundaries in the beginning. It took me 6 months on working with my authority wound, because as a child, when I set boundaries with authority, I was always attacked, right? And it's similar thing with clients. Very often when I set boundaries, you are financially attacked. So until you've cleared your stuff, you feel deeply not just disappointed, but like you can't trust anybody. So it's really important to go deep into those spaces so that you can then voice your needs, right? In a loving way as opposed to in a toxic way or in a persecutor way. And you can do what needs to be done so you don't let people take advantage of you or hurt you so that you can have your own back. Okay. Hi, Sky. Can I have a reading on when I will meet my soulmate? Go back to the soulmate cards. Let's see what they say. Woo! Oh, honeymoon. Enjoying the bliss of holiday time together. So this is clearly a holiday. This card actually shows Venice. So this is like a romantic destination and you are traveling. You can see the boat on the water and it's Archangel Raphael on the boat, right? Helping you make that transition. They're saying that like this is very much you're going to meet traveling. You're going to meet unexpectedly. It's not going to be inside this country. It's interesting because it's eclipse season. This very much looks like we're coming out of eclipse season here. You can see that moon or that sun is very hazy up there. It's very much covered. You can't tell if it's just by a cloud or if it's a proper eclipse stuff. But there's definitely darkness, etc. in the background. So I'd say that you're going to meet in the evening, and this is a definitely balmy. Like I can feel like almost like balm on my skin. So you're looking at spring or late summer. Spring or late summer for your soulmate coming into your life. So now's the time to get ready. Now's the time to get super clear. Okay. Hi, Maria's saying, hi, Sky. Please do a reading on my financial situation. Still having fears. Thank you. We're going to use the Marianne book on the law of divine compensation. This is an insanely good book. I've had it for almost 8 years now, and it always, always helps me. Okay. The universe knows what our needs are and is programmed to provide for them. When you start asking, have I provided for love's needs, more frequently than you ask, has love provided my needs, then the miracles that occur naturally in the presence of love will fall at your feet and into your hands. To the ego mind, surrender means giving up. To the spiritual mind, surrender means giving in and receiving. Once we're there inside the holy place where all is in inner riches, the outer gold of worldly prosperity appears in a miraculous way. It comes inviting us to use our wealth responsibly and to share it generously, as the universe has so shared it with us. The prayer for you is, dear God, I surrender to you who I am and what I have and what I must do. May my life and talents be used in whatever way serves you best. I surrender to you my failures and any pain still in my heart. So the guidance from your angels with this one is really clear, that you've stopped, you've blocked giving and receiving because you're so afraid of finances. So we're going to take a moment. We're going to ask Archangel Michael and Archangel Shamuel, who's one of the angels of abundance, to open up your heart. And all the places where you are being stingy, where you're making excuses for not being generous, where you are being emotionally stingy, financially stingy, where you're being like careful or financially constipated, where you're holding on, like I'm not going to buy this, I'm not going to get this kind of food, I'm not, because I can't afford it, I can't, anything like that. We're going to ask God to just lift it off. Because what this guidance is that when you give kindness, when you, and to people, right, who are worthy of it, and because it's your divine guidance. So in Course in Miracles, the prayer is, where would you have me go? What would you have me say? What would you have me do? And with whom? Right? That is the prayer. And that's the prayer that I'm going to get you to say over and over again, and follow your divine guidance on who to give, when to give, how to give. And this principle of stepping into giving first, A Course in Miracles says the sanest person goes first, right? Shifts so much in my life, and it's always given me so many opportunities. So for example, with theta healing, I became one of the youngest theta healing teachers in one of the biggest theta healing schools in London, because for a year before I got the job, I was showing up to every class on the weekend after I graduated as a volunteer, and I was working for free. And not only was I working for free, but I was giving it my all, and I was being of service, and I was loving every minute of it. I wasn't resenting working for free. I wasn't panicking about working for free. I was like, I need to master this. I need to figure this out. I love being here. with these people and in this energy. So I would work during the week, and then in my free time, I would volunteer and I would serve and I would help. And I wasn't thinking about getting the job as a teacher. I thought, these people have been practicing theta healing for like 15 years. I've been doing it for like 5 months. There's no way they're ever going to see me as a spiritual teacher. But if I'm here, then I'll get to learn faster. I get to be around the energy that I love, and I'll master this modality, right? I'll get to understand. And that's what God was guiding me to do. And then voila, 6 or 7 months in, the owner of the school turns around to me and goes, if you go and get your teacher's qualifications, there's a job waiting for you when you come back. Why? Because the commitment, the showing up on a regular basis, the service and helping of other people had built trust. And then that is what's required for people to offer you a job, is that they know you'll take care of their business. You'll take care of business, right? That you will take care of them, that you are doing it from a deeper place. You're not using them for money. You're actually doing your divine life purpose. You're following God's will. This has happened to me so many times over my life. When I was like in high school, I was guided to volunteer, helping with children that were differently abled. And through that, basically all of the opportunities for work, all of the opportunities for travel, all the opportunities for promotions, everything that I needed to get to the next stage in life was just offered to me on a platter, right? While I was in the process of helping other people. So very often you have to get out of your head and you have to do what you're guided to do. And that might be volunteering. That might be, getting in the car and going to help the best friend, or going to help the, the animal shelter, or going to help the mom next door whose kid hasn't slept in like 24 hours. Acts of kindness, simple acts of kindness blossom into oak trees of abundance. I'm going to say that again. Simple acts of kindness blossom into oak trees of abundance. But when we go into fear and we're like, nobody helps me, I don't have the money to pay the bills, blah, 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 people can feel not only the fear, but they can feel the stone wall, the shutdown, and they can feel the energetic gripping and the blame. It's your job to give me a job, your job to recognize me, your job to make it better. You owe me a better life. That hidden entitlement underneath the pain, right, scares them, because people are just as scared of you of not being able to provide. My biggest fear of hiring people was that I wouldn't be able to financially take care of them. It's never manifested, but it was my biggest fear. What if I hire this person and I can't afford to pay them? What if I fail and then I fail them because I failed me? Right? It's a lot of responsibility. And I tell you this, it never goes away. Every new level of business, when you hire more people, one of the biggest fears entrepreneurs have is that they won't be able to take care of the people that take care of them. Right? And because money's like an ocean, it's constantly shifting and changing. And you're, as entrepreneurs, you're constantly having to ride that ocean or swim in the ocean. You have very little control, right, of what's going to happen in the economy, of what's happening on the internet, of what's popular, what's trending. You have no control of any of that. So you have to really learn to find your peace and find your center. So we're just going to take a moment, really let those angels go even deeper there so that you can listen to what you are being guided to do. And then actually do it. Just get out of this space of I don't have enough, and focus on getting back into what you can control, what you can be grateful for, what you do have, and trusting that the universe already knows what you need, and that the moment that you step into serving the universe will serve you in return. Okay. I'm having difficulty with my throat chakra. Acceptance of people's truth doesn't come easy to me. Oh, bless. And also letting go. Any messages from the angels for me? Thank you so much. Your angels are wanting me to honor your vulnerability. That is real vulnerability right there. Most women that I work with struggle with that and their whole lives, and it holds them down. So you having voiced that is going to heal so many people listening, and it's going to give your angels a massive opportunity to work a miracle in your life. So I want to honor the vulnerability. I want to honor the presence that you had and the courage to get real about the truth, which is, I don't want to listen when they tell me no. I don't want to listen that they tell me they're not who I'm waiting for. I don't want to listen when they tell me they don't love me or they're not the right partner or they're not the right person. I don't want to listen because I want them to be it. Okay. Oh. Archangel of Charity, bring in love. Let's see what that, number 19, see what the message is for you, my darling. Okay. Just as love is a state of being generated from within, so too is everything you want to bring into your life. Focus, align, and receive. Archangel Shamuel, whose name reflects divine seeking, serves on the pink, red, and ruby ray of divine love and devotion to his counterpart, Archaea Charity. Shamuel, also known as Camuel, guides us that we receive from life what we vibrate, not what we ask for. If we have reiterated the lack of something we desire, it won't show up in our world. Shamuel is helping you to be the vibrational match for all you're attracting. He shares that believing you can and can't manifest something is just a mindset. Be preparing your mindset. You'll prepave your vibration to magnetize your desires. Invite in Archangel Michael for appreciation, development of the heart, higher heart, and causal chakras, drawing to you the best lovers, partnerships, and friends, finding things, heart-centered awareness, and reclaiming passion. So the core belief I'm being shown is I can't have it all. And when you have the belief that you can't have it all, either your work is going well or your relationships are falling apart. Or if your relationships are going well, then your health is falling apart. Something is always falling apart because you have the core belief that you can't have it all. So what I want you to start visualizing is having an incredible loving partner that wants you, having all the income, passive and active, that you could ever ask for, having the kind of experiences, right? The invitations to balls and parties and events and speaking and teaching and writing and everything. I want you to exaggerate the level of success that you deeply have inside your heart. And I want you to start being in that resonance every single day, being in that vision every single day. And the other thing I want you to do is do the work on the worthiness, because particularly women, and Marianne Williamson has a book called A Woman's Worth. Brené Brown has a book called Men, Women, and Worthiness. But a woman, if you do not feel worthy and if you treat yourself like you're not worthy, and this is something I'm really working very deeply on right now, is the neglect wound, because I healed it in my maiden archetype, but I hadn't addressed it in the mother archetype. And that's really what I am focusing on healing now, is that neglect mother wound, where I was taught that as a mother I have to neglect myself, put myself last, as a way, sacrifice myself for my child. And then what happens is you're burnt out, and then you actually end up hurting the people in your life and destroying everything from the family to yourself. It's a mess. So I'm really clearing up the neglect wound, and they're really showing me, right, that for you it's such an important thing for you to start raising your worth, and for you to start feeling beautiful, feeling attractive, feeling like you deserve to be spoiled, and working on the prejudices that women who are taken care of, women who are, have their bills paid, women that are with and married to providers, women that have family, all of the prejudices around that, including that, like, you're a bimbo and people don't, and that's lazy and you don't deserve it. Every prejudice that you have around being worthy of being provided for mentally, financially, spiritually, physically, by a partner and by God, I want you to mop that stuff up, and I want you to go deep instead of shallow, because the life that you want and the life that you have, that trauma is the gap between the two. So until you get to a place where you actually enjoy receiving, you are going to repel men that enjoy giving. Okay? I'm going to say that again. Until you get to a place that you can enjoy receiving, you are going to repel men that enjoy giving. And the universe won't be able to give to you or offer you things. Okay? So it's going to take a moment to heal that receiving wound. Any place where the provider in your life hurt you so badly that you thought, never again, I'm never going to let anybody provide for me ever again. Let's do an instant healing on that one so that you can be free. Okay. I'm going to do one more. Okay, Linus is saying, I feel a huge desire for sexuality these days, yet it does not feel safe for me to go into it, as if the energy is too overwhelming for my system. Or is there any belief or blockage that I can't see? Yeah, there's huge beliefs and blockages that you can't see. Huge. I would I would really recommend slowing right down, getting a very good body worker, and allowing yourself to go into the places where you were shamed and humiliated for having sexual desires and needs, any places where you were shamed for not wanting to participate in hookup culture that made you out to be a prude or like a virgin or frigid if you didn't want to have sex with everybody, or have sex with people until they met your standards or your boundaries. Any places where you're fantasizing or masturbating over the idea of being beaten, tied down, hurt, humiliated, anything forced to participate in sexual activity is residual trauma, right? From the lifetimes where you were told that women are not allowed to want sex, or God will hate them, and they have no virtue and they have no purity. So that's where I'm being shown is there's not like small, there's huge mountains here that you can't see. Okay? Because you're dissociated. You're going, oh, it's fine. Because I can experience sexual pleasure, I'm okay. It's not that bad. And actually the energy is like, okay, you're correct. This is not safe. So you need to go into like a proper sexual healing environment so that you can discover your own sexuality. For most women, their first sexual experiences are all about the guy. It's all about making him happy, whether it's their wedding night or whether it's, the first boyfriend in high school. Very rarely are our first sexual experiences about what we like or what we want. Most first kisses we get taken, not asked for. So all the places where you didn't concentrate on your own sexuality, where you didn't know your own sexuality. I love the healing, female healing website OMGYS, because they go into like really deep into women discovering their sexuality, and it's all from a research based perspective as well. So this is kind of like what we should have had at 11, 12, 13 instead of what we did have, which was either nothing or very often religious abuse and dogma. And then you want to go into like the dark feminine. So that energy of you're allowed to have standards, you're allowed to have boundaries, you're allowed to have conditions on who you share your sexuality with. And you're also allowed to, choose the partner, because the whole of our culture is upside down. They're like the men choose, but actually women choose. We don't choose actively. So we choose by who we smile at. We choose by the places that we go. We choose by who we flirt with. We don't go up to a guy and go, come out with me. But by sending flirtatious energy, sexual energy, by like we create an invitation for them to come and seek us or hunt us or pursue us. And that's how it's worked for a very, very long time. If you listen to Taylor Swift's song Mastermind, it really shows you how for so long women have had to like choose their partners whilst making it look like the partner chose them, right? But it's this really deep intelligence, because we literally we are the gatekeepers for future reproduction. So it's a really, really, it's a really important position of power. We're choosing the genes that get passed on to the future when we choose a partner that we're going to have children with. And we're also choosing what gets birthed into the world, because a woman multiplies a man's abundance and his energies and his gifts. So if you choose a partner who, is toxic, or then that gets magnified and that gets multiplied, and those qualities get passed on, and then it becomes more and more dangerous, as it were. There are more and more male predators are created, more and more imbalances created based on what we're choosing now. And it's why in ancient shamanic cultures they would say, look, whenever you're making a decision, think about how it will impact the next 7 generations. Whereas we just think about whether or not we fancy the person or not when we're choosing a partner, which is just shows you just how immature the the West is when it comes to sexual liberation. It's another kind of sexual prison that's got nothing to do with liberation. So we're just going to take a minute and call on the angels of sexual healing, so that you can be present with your sexual pain and with the feelings of shame, guilt, dissociation, freeze, fight, flight, fix that come. Okay, let's do a closing prayer. O Great Spirit, Father Sky, Mother Earth, the winds, the waters, my father, my mother, Atanaha, all that is. We thank you for our lives and we thank you for these good people. We thank you for all that we are and all that we are to become. We dedicate our time spent together and our relationships with one another to you. We ask that our suffering be ended and our pain be lifted to the love and to the peace that lay beyond. Aho, Amen, Namaste.